Hi there, Satin class. We're going to spend the afternoon looking at the Navajo tribe. It's a funny spelling, looks like Navajo. It's not, it's Navajo. That J is a H sound. Okay, so this is another Native American tribe, and I've chosen a book from Epic, very similar to the one on the Iroquois that you may have read. We're going to read a few pages, not very many, because the afternoon is going to be given up for art. So we're just going to find out a little bit about the Navajo first. So they were an amazing people, and hundreds of years ago, North America was mostly wild, open land. Native Americans lived on the land, and they had their own languages and customs, so their own ways of life. And the Navajo are a Native American nation. They are known for their beautiful art and strong leaders. The Navajo women are known for their amazingly beautiful craft work, and you can see this lady here. She's holding a woven basket, and she's sat on this most amazingly beautifully coloured rug or throw. Would have been used to keep them warm, but they still make them nowadays. They've been making baskets and rugs for hundreds of years. At first, the Navajo lived in Canada between 1100 and 1500. They moved south. They made their homelands in the southwestern United States. The people lived in an area known as the Four Corners. This is where present-day New Mexico, Arizona, Colorado, and Utah meet. Land in the southwest has mountains, deserts, canyons, and forests. It is rich in minerals. So the land is rich in minerals, and those minerals would have been used from the rock ground down to dye the wool in order to make those beautiful colours that you would have seen. I'm just going to scooch forward in the book because there's a section on their amazing craft work. So they made objects that they needed for daily life, and they were known for their creativity and their artistry. They were skilled silversmiths. They made jewellery. You can see this lady here with her jewellery. And they often combined turquoise, the stone turquoise, to make one-of-a-kind jewellery. They made woven baskets, painted pottery, and the most amazing colourful rugs with really, really intricate patterns. But all the patterns are repeated patterns, and the colours are natural colours. The blues and the sort of the orangey colours, rusty colours, browns, whites. And they wove these rugs, and they learned this skill from Native American tribes such as the Pueblo. The Navajo women are among the best weavers in the world. They would tell stories, as we know, for entertainment. All Native American tribes would tell stories for entertainment, but there's one particular story that I'm going to read to you, and that is how they believe. That's their belief that the reason why they became such great weavers was based on this story. So I'm just going to change my screen when it all comes up. Here we go. So let's see it nice and big. So as I said, they're best known for their weaving. It's all gone a bit dark. We're loading. Here it comes. So they are best known for their weavers. And we know that they came to the southwest between the 10th and 11th centuries. No one knows if they knew how to weave then, but if they didn't, they quickly learned the skills, as I said, from the Pueblo people. And soon they became so good at weaving that they were actually better than the people that taught them to weave. So native weavers make and dye their yarn, and they make their own looms. So this is a loom. This lady here, she's sat at a loom, and they would use the main. That would be their main tool to weave. And it takes months to create a rug or blanket, so it's part of daily life. And you can see here people sat, and they've got their loom there. That looks like it's a very nearly finished piece, although the lady here seems to be working this section down here, so it's obviously going to be a big wall hanging or rug or throw. does take a long time. They also believed that weaving helped them pray, so they would use it in a sort of a reflective and mindful sense, to be mindful of being in the present day and thinking and relaxing. So this story here is a story they would tell, and it's the story of how they became weavers. So it's the story of the Navajo Spider Woman. In the beginning, Spider Woman and Spider Man were given life by the Holy Ones. They, in turn, were given life by the Holy Spirits of the Blue World, a world of water, air and land animals. One day, when Spider Woman was out on the land, she came to a young tree, which was just beginning to grow. Gently, she reached out her hand and wrapped her fingers around a small branch. To her surprise, when Spider Woman released her hand, a thin, silky string had appeared between the branch and the middle of her palm. Panicking, she shook her hand to try to get rid of the string, but it stayed attached. The more she pulled, the more string appeared, so she wrapped it round the small branch. The more she wrapped, the more she realised she was running out of space on the branch. Soon, Spider Woman had covered the entire tree with her sticky string. Exhausted, she lay against a tree and looked up, staring in wonder. She had made a beautiful pattern with the string. The Holy Ones had given her a special gift. She rushed home to tell her husband, the Spider-Man. When the Holy Ones heard what had happened, they came to visit. They told the Spider-Man to build a weaving loom and make tools for his wife so she could weave. Whenever she wove her cloth, the Spider-Woman would sing the weaving song given to her by the Holy Ones. Over time, she taught the Navajo women how to weave on a loom, which the Spider-Man had helped them make. The Spider-Woman also advised the women to rub a spider's web onto their arms and hands of any girl born to them, to ensure she would grow up to be a good weaver too. The story of the Navajo Spider-Woman is still told today. A sandstone monolith, known as Spider Rock, stands 800 feet high at Canyon de Chelly. This rock is said to be the home of the Spider Woman. Even today, the elders of the Navajo people tell children who are misbehaving, Spider Woman will let down her web ladder and lift you to the top of Spider Rock, where she will devour you. We'll just go back to this picture here. So that's the Spider Rock there. You can see that picture. It sort of stands all by itself. You can see why children might be a little bit frightened of a Spider Woman living at the top. So, when we look at the patterns, you may see the odd figure or symbol. And I know it's a little blurry, but you can see some of the symbols here and what they might mean. So, for example, we've got a picture of a man, a little symbol of a man. The man means life. And we've got picture of a cactus, meaning desert, and sun rays. I like the idea of sun rays. We've got the idea that it's constant, so it's always happening, the sun rays. And days and nights, standing for time, reflecting the time. This one here, Thunderbird, unlimited happiness. And one of the patterns I'm going to show you in a minute has some thunderbirds in it. We've got a picture of a child, father's pride. So you can see there's lots of things you could pick out when you look at some of these patterns. Some of the patterns are quite simply zigzags, but you could interpret them in your own way. There we go. So we can see here, so my slide's moved on, we've got here some really fun ones. I think these are quite fun. They look like people who are busily getting ready to do some sort of hunting, maybe. Maybe some sort of dance, maybe a dance of peace, or even a chant of battle cry. We've got here the Thunderbird, as I told you about. And then we've got some very intricate sort of zigzag patterns, which are different as well. Okay, so there's quite a few ideas there that you might like to use. Because what you're going to do is actually have a go at creating your own Navajo pattern, and you can use some of these for inspiration, or you will have these slides in your Google assignments, so you can actually use the slides and click on the links to show you some more images. There's that image again of the lady weaving her rug. So you can see that they span across a line. So I wouldn't be too accurate with your lines. You don't necessarily need to use a ruler or anything, but if you were to use a light pencil, so don't press too hard, use a light pencil to mark out your pattern, and then you can go over it with your colouring crayons. And what you'll create should end up being a repeating pattern. So it repeats itself. We've got the middle section here repeating itself. We've got this one here down here, it's very symmetrical. Okay. Or you've got this idea here where you've got the pictures of the warrior people getting ready to do battle. Or go hunting, for that matter. Interestingly though, at school we would have had a go at doing some weaving on a cardboard loom. So I've put a link here for you to follow on the slides, and you can follow that link, and if you're able to, there's absolutely no need to, but if you are able to and you've got some of the equipment or the equipment that you will need, so cardboard, thread, wool, you will need a plastic needle, or at least a very large metal needle, and you can have a go at weaving on a cardboard loom. It's a really fun thing to do, and it makes a really lovely pattern if you use different colour wool. So what I would like you to do though is have a go at drawing your own pattern, but if you do feel inspired to move on to doing weaving, then please do show me pictures of your lovely weaving. I hope you enjoy your artwork this afternoon. Spend some time, you don't have to do it all in one go, spend some time really thinking about how you can create your beautiful Navajo pattern. I'm incredibly sad that we can't all be in school doing this together, because we'd have some beautiful music on in the background creating our patterns. Have a great time everybody, I think you'll enjoy this.